This is major news for all Americans. The Internal Revenue Service has just unveiled important information. For anyone who files taxes, the agency will be making changes that will go into effect next tax season. Experts say that this move could affect millions of taxpayers' tax refund checks. My dear friends, please make sure that you watch until the end of this video to hear about all of these new details. Also, every Friday, I will be announcing several winners for the Walmart gift card giveaway. If you would like to enter these weekly giveaway, friends, all you have to do is click and like several of my videos and then comment below the keyword of each video that you watch. The more videos that you comment on, friends, the greater your chances of winning these giveaways.
Thank you, Chairman Arrington and Ranking Member Boyle, for providing me with the opportunity to appear before the House Budget Committee today and all the members here. I appreciate being here. I'd also like to thank my friend, colleague, Senator Romney, for his dedication to seeking solutions for our nation's fiscal challenges, and thank you to the committee for steadfast commitment to improving our fiscal health. The Congressional Budget Act of 1974 sets a timeline for Congress to follow when it comes to the budget process. So we have it in law that by April the 15th of each year, Congress must, I'll repeat, must pass a budget resolution. And by September the 30th of each year, Congress must pass all 12 appropriations bills. Unfortunately, it's a timeline without any teeth. On September 30th, 1996, Congress passed all 12 appropriation bills for fiscal year 1997. As the committee is likely aware, the national debt at that time was $5.4 trillion. Today, we spend that much and more in 1 year, and the national debt exceeds $33.7 trillion. On August the 5th of 1997, Congress and President Clinton enacted the Balanced Budget Act of 1997, which was negotiated in a bipartisan way by then White House Chief of Staff Erskine Bowles and then House Budget Committee Chair John Kasich. Among other things, it set enforceable budget caps for fiscal year 1998 through 2002. What followed those bipartisan compromises were balanced budgets and surpluses of more than $550 billion. Unfortunately, the United States of America has not posted a surplus since. Over 22 years in the red. Every year, we spend more than we take in. There have been attempts to get us back on track. In 2010, the Simpson-Bowles Commission published recommendations that would have capped spending at 21% of GDP and reduced debt to 65% of GDP by 2020. Unfortunately, Congress refused to act for political reasons. On August 2011, Congress tried again with the Budget Control Act of 2011, which coupled a debt ceiling increase with a mandate of more than $2 trillion in cuts. Unfortunately, Congress again refused to act for political reasons, blowing through those caps and spending another $1.3 trillion more than we took in. Now it's too late for another warning. In 2011, Standard & Poor's downgraded the U.S. credit rating from a AAA to AA+. In the past few months alone, Fitch has followed suit, and Moody's Corporation is on the brink of its own downgrade. We are the only AAA-rated country in the world that does not have a multi-year fiscal planning process, the only one. We must reverse the catastrophic financial demise of our own making before it's too late. As evident by the chart behind me, in fiscal year 1997, revenues totaled $1.58 trillion and spending totaled $1.6 trillion. Fast forward to 2023, revenues totaled $4.4 trillion, while spending clocked in an astounding $6.13 trillion. Outside the fiscal years during COVID-19 pandemic, 2023 total deficit of $1.7 trillion was the highest in United States history. Let me repeat that. Last year's imbalance between spending and revenue was a record high. Years of fiscal irresponsibility have brought us to the crisis we face today, which is more than $33.75 trillion of national debt. In 2023, we spent more than $650 billion just on interest alone. By 2051, if we maintain this trajectory, the money that the federal government spends on interest to service the debt will be greater than what we spend on anything else, including defense.
The Internal Revenue Service is raising the stakes for those who underpay their taxes. The agency is moving to bump up the interest penalty that will be assessed in next year's spring's tax filing season. Earlier this fall, the IRS increased its interest penalty on estimated tax underpayments to 8%. That is a notable jump from 3% just 2 years ago. The IRS indicated that the interest rate penalty is determined every quarter and that for taxpayers and other corporations, the assessed rate is a federal short-term rate plus 3 percentage points. Self-employed workers and independent contractors, including many gig workers, will be at risk of being hit with the underpayment penalty. This is if they fail to pay the amount that the IRS believes they owe. According to Yahoo News, taxpayers don't face an interest penalty for underpayment if the balance due is under $1,000 after their credits and other tax account information is factored in. For example, taxpayers subject to this payment program will make the estimated payment for the fourth quarter of 2023 by January 16, 2024. Yahoo News states that the changes won't affect most taxpayers who are W-2 employees and have tax payments withheld from each paycheck that they receive. But in the majority of those cases, taxpayers are ultimately owed a tax refund rather than facing an underpayment penalty. Joseph Doerr, a CPA, told the Wall Street Journal, "It's a cautionary tale for individuals to think about as we get towards year end." The Internal Revenue Service has a tax withholding estimator tool available for taxpayers to reference. To use a tool, taxpayers would need to know information from their prior year's tax return, as well as pay stubs and taxable income sources. Federal Reserve Governor Michelle Bowman recently said this week the U.S. Central Bank will likely need to raise borrowing costs further in order to bring inflation back down to its 2% target rate over a reasonable period. Bowman said during a speech, "My baseline economic outlook continues to expect that we will need to increase the federal funds rate further. This is to keep policy sufficiently restrictive to bring inflation down to a 2% target in a timely way." Earlier this month, the Fed kept its benchmark overnight lending rate unchanged in the 5.25% to 5.5% range for the second consecutive policy meeting. Since then, Fed Chair Jerome Powell has signaled that while the central bank stands prepared to raise interest rates again, it would only do so if progress on getting inflation back to the 2% target rate falters. Bowman has repeatedly been among a small minority of policymakers who have said they don't think the Fed's job is yet done. By the Fed's preferred measure, inflation fell to 3.4% in September, down from a peak of 7.1% last summer. Other Fed policymakers have pointed out that they still expect it will take more time for the full impact of the rise in borrowing costs over the past 20 months to filter through the economy. Bowman, for her part, is less certain that will be adequate, noting that inflation remains high and progress uneven. Likewise, some signs of interest rate unresponsiveness among businesses could dull the effects of tighter monetary policy and financial conditions on inflation. Overall, longer-term economic conditions might mean the Fed's policy rate may need to be higher than pre-crisis norms. Earlier this month, Fed Governor Christopher Waller said he is increasingly confident the central bank's current policy setting will prove enough to return inflation to the Fed's target rate of 2%. Well, my magnificent and most marvelous friends, that is the end of my daily stimulus update video for today. Dearest friends, thank you so much for being part of this community. To say thank you and to show my appreciation, every Friday I will be announcing several winners for the Walmart gift card giveaway. If you would like to enter these weekly giveaway, friends, please click and like several of my videos and then comment below the keyword of each video that you watch. The more videos that you comment on, friends, the greater your chances of winning these giveaways. Thank you and have a wonderful and very blessed week.